so I'm feeling in a mood. And bite my tongue. In the warning sign, way to the world is mine. Is in the land it lies, holding my kingdom size. Hold for the opening wide. To see me in a crown, I'm gonna run this nothing town. Won't you make me bow one by one by one, one by one by, to see me in a crown. It's gonna be my favorite sound. Won't you make me bow one by one by one, one by one by one. And my soul shall fall. Why I don't know what. Oh. The walls, I like the way they all scream. Tell me which one is worse, living or dying first. Taping inside a hurt. I don't dream. Say, come over, baby. I think you're pretty. I'm okay. I'm not your baby. If you think I'm pretty, you should see me in a crown. I'm gonna run this nothing town. Watch me make 'em bow one by one by one, one by one by. Hey, small hands. Watch me make 'em bow one by one by one, one by one by one. I was feeling up for some singing. I'm not so sure that everybody else was. Sorry. How are you doing, small hands? I mean, I said I wasn't streaming today, but I woke up so early. Like, I can stream for like an hour, maybe. Oh, I just thought chatting and maybe singing a little bit. I'm okay, and yourself? I'm a tired little kitty. I'm a tired little kitty. Okay? But it's okay. I am feeling up for shenanigans. And right now, I think I think we should probably, I don't know, just look at some videos because I'm feeling up for like I was allowed to sleep today, so that is good. Oh, that's good. It's really good. Nah, I just thought we would like, I don't know. I just wanted to sing for a little bit, if you know what I mean. I'm weird like that. I'm sorry if I was off key or whatever, but I just felt like singing for a little bit. I was in a mood. Uh, oh my god. A year ago? Shit, man. We already watched this one. So I'm thinking this one. This either this one or this one. So do you guys want Evil Master Plan or his ridiculous plan backfired with a fatal repercussion? Or well, with a fatal consequence. So fatal consequence or teen progeny kind of want to see how this went.
Today's story is really, really weird. Now, we've been sitting on this topic for some time because it's totally fascinating, but we just weren't sure how to approach it. But recently, we kind of figured out a clever way to tell it, which you'll hear today. But just know, going into this story, that a lot of what happened in this story has never been fully explained. And so we did our best to make this make sense, but I'm sure many of you at the end of this video are going to be like, what did I just watch? And if that's you, I would encourage you to just Google the case yourself because it's totally wild. But before we get into that story, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place because that's all we do, and we upload once a week. So if that's of interest to you, the next time you see the like button choking on a piece of food, immediately get up and perform the Heimlich maneuver, but on yourself. Also, please subscribe to our channel. That's so stupid. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. Okay, let's get into today's story.
That Heimlich maneuver. Oh, so good. Stupid, but so good. Stupid, oh my god.
On April 15th, 2018, a 56-year-old woman named Yoshika Yasutake began dusting a piano inside of her family's very small and very clean home in the English village of Helmsley. Like she always did, after dusting the outside of this piano, Yoshika lifted up the lid and began individually dusting each of the piano keys. But as she did this, she was very careful not to press down accidentally on any of the keys and make a sound. That was the last thing she wanted to do. Every time Yoshika was in charge of cleaning the house, she always dreaded getting to the piano because she was so worried about making a sound. After Yoshika had finished dusting this piano, both outside and inside, she lowered the lid and then walked over to a bookcase right next to a window and began dusting each of the books. And as she did, she began to hear out the window the sounds of birds chirping and cars driving around and people chatting. And Yoshika, when she heard this, she stopped dusting for a moment and just looked out the window at the beautiful town, all the little stone cottages that lined the road. And as she looked out there and listened to the sounds of her village, Yoshika was struck with a sadness about all the things that she was missing out on. Once, Yoshika had been a world-class pianist. She had trained at the Royal College of Music, which is one of the most prestigious institutions in London, and she used to play packed symphony halls where sometimes in the audience would be literal members of the royal family. I mean, she was a really big deal. But Yoshika didn't play the piano anymore because her younger sister, Rina, had come back home. Now, as soon as Yoshika thought of Rina, she got angry and instinctively just turned and stared at Rina's closed bedroom door. And just for a moment, Yoshika wished that Rina had not come home. Because ever since Rina had come home, it was like all of Yoshika's family had decided that nothing else was important. Rina was the only thing that mattered. The Yasutake family consisted of Yoshika, as well as, of course, Rina, who was 49 years old, and they both had a brother who was 51 years old, and his name was Takahiro, and the three siblings' mother also lived with them, and she was 80 years old. As for their dad, he had passed away a few years earlier. Yoshika and Takahiro were both very impressive in their own ways. Yoshika had been this amazing pianist, and Takahiro was this amazing writer, but Rina was just on another level. Rina not only spoke fluent Greek, Latin, English, and Japanese, but she also created her own dialect of Japanese with a complete system of grammar. Rina was also this unbelievable artist, and everybody wanted to buy her paintings, but Rina would never sell. Or if she did, it was quite rare, but that only created lots of hype around her artwork. It was like so valuable to get your hands on one of Rina's paintings. As a child, Rina had been awarded all these scholarships to all these prestigious private schools, and then after graduating high school, she was given a full-ride scholarship to the University of Cambridge, which is one of the most prestigious universities in the world. And so everybody assumed Rina was on track to become this world-famous artist. But there was something dark inside of Rina that no one could quite place. It only came out when she would have these sudden outbursts of anger, and people would see this side of her that just didn't line up with the rest of who she was. But these flashes of anger would often pass quickly, And so people kind of wrote it off as a byproduct of extreme genius. It was like her brain just sometimes couldn't quite handle how smart she was, and she would get mad and frustrated. But when Rena graduated from the University of Cambridge and came back home, she just was totally different. It was like something inside of her had snapped and stayed broken. A couple of days after Rena had come home, she had one of those sudden outbursts of anger, but Rena's anger never went away. She just stayed mad for days and days, and her family began asking her, like, what has gotten you so upset? But Rena refused to talk about it. And eventually, Rena just locked herself in her bedroom in the family home, and she would stay inside of there, refusing to talk to her family for weeks. And then when she did finally emerge after several weeks, it was clear Rena was just different. She basically refused to speak to anyone, family included, unless it was absolutely necessary, and she really never left the house or even her room unless it was totally necessary. And it would turn out this was not some post-college phase Rena was going through. This would become Rena's life. She basically became a total recluse inside of that bedroom for decades, to the point where the family's neighbors didn't even know Rena existed because she basically never came out of the house. Yoshika stopped staring at her sister's closed bedroom door and turned her attention back to the books on the shelf. She finished dusting them, and then after she was done cleaning the house. And so she put the duster down, and Yoshika very quietly tiptoed her way over to Rena's closed bedroom door, and very quietly she knocked. Rena hated loud noises, which is why Yoshika was no longer allowed to play the piano, because it was too loud for Rena. After Yoshika gave this light knock, she began counting in her head to 30, because Rena had told her, you do not come in right away. You knock and you wait 30 seconds at least, and then maybe I'll let you come inside. And so Yoshika, she's counting in her head, 1, 2, 3, she gets to 25, 26, 27, and then from inside the room, Rena would tell Yoshika, okay, you're allowed to enter. Yoshika very slowly reached down, she turned the knob and opened up her sister's bedroom door, and it revealed this totally dark room, this very small, cramped space. All the shades and blinds had been drawn, and Rena was sitting on her bed, completely silent. And Yoshika, she kept her head down, being very careful not to make eye contact with Rena. She didn't want to upset her. And Yoshika, she walked into the room, she made her way to the table, and she scooped up all of Rena's dirty dishes. And then Yoshika, she turned around and began walking out again, and as she did, she tried to take a quick glimpse at whatever Rena was working on in her bedroom, because Rena had told her family that she was working on this master work, but wouldn't really elaborate on it. And in order to work on this thing, she needed the room to be dark and the house to be silent, and she needed to focus exclusively on this master work, and the family needed to support her as she did this. But again, Rena just never really elaborated on what this masterwork was. She would just say that it was very special, and it would combine all the elements of her life, her spirit, her body, her soul. Even the family would be a part of building this masterwork. And when her family asked her, well, what do you mean? How can we support you in making this masterwork? Rena would just say, oh, you'll know when the time is right. Yoshika couldn't get a glimpse of the masterwork, and so she quickly turned her head back down to the ground and shuffled her way out of Rena's room and shut the door behind her. And then Yoshika, she went to the kitchen and she dumped Rena's dishes in the sink, which was totally clean to begin with, because one of Rena's rules was the house must always be immaculately clean, no dirty dish, no dust anywhere. I mean, it had to be perfect, spotless at all times, because that's the only way Rena could work on this masterwork. And so as Yoshika cleaned and dried off all of Rena's dishes and began putting them away, her brother Takahiro walked into the kitchen, and he would say to Yoshika that it was time for them to leave the house and go to the market and buy some supplies for Rena so she can continue to work on this master work. Yoshika was immediately totally annoyed that they had to go do this because everything was all about Rena, but she kind of buried those feelings and told her brother, okay, sure, let's go. Takahiro was different than Yoshika in how he thought about their younger sister, Rena. Yoshika totally resented Rena because now that Rena was home, Yoshika basically had to give up her career as this amazing pianist in order to support Rena in this whole master work she was working on. But Takahiro, he was totally fine giving up his writing career to just focus on supporting Rena, because he really believed in Rena, and he thought that this master work she was building was going to be like the single greatest piece of art in the history of humankind. And so Takahiro felt proud to kind of be a part of it. Now, Takahiro, like the rest of his family, had no idea what this masterwork actually was, but Takahiro and Rina had a much better relationship than Yoshika and Rina, and so Rina would tell Takahiro these specific things that she needed in order to build this masterwork. And so that day, Rina had told Takahiro some things she needed, and so he and Yoshika were going to go out and get them. So Takahiro and Yoshika threw on their jackets and stepped outside, and as soon as they were out there, they both flipped their collars up and kind of concealed their faces and put their heads down because they were very careful not to make eye contact with other people. This family was already very private, but with Rina, they had been instructed to be even more private and not even really interact with the outside world. And so basically, anytime they went out in public, they would kind of hide themselves. And so Yoshika and Takahiro, they made their way to the pharmacy, they ducked their way inside, and they would purchase a bottle of surgical spirits, which is sort of like a medical alcohol. And then after buying that, the brother and sister put their collars back up, headed back outside, and they went to an old used bookstore and they bought a book on palm reading, which is the art of studying the lines on your hands in order to tell someone's future. And when the brother and sister bought this book, even though the cashier was talking to them, they kept their heads down and didn't say a word to the cashier. And then after getting their book, the brother and sister hurried their way back home. And when they got there, the door was locked, but instead of pulling out a key and unlocking the door of their own home, the brother and sister knocked and they waited. And then at some point their mother came to the door and they heard 4 locks turning. The door opened up and then Yoshika and Takahiro walked inside and they shut the door and then locked again the 4 deadbolts. Rina was adamant that no one in the family could carry around a key to the house. It was too dangerous because they could potentially lose the key in town and then someone could come into their house and potentially see Rina's masterwork, and they couldn't have that happen. And so nobody had keys. They had to knock each time they came home. And the reason they had 4 locks on the door was, again, because Rina was very worried about somebody coming into this house and seeing what she was doing. Yoshika carried the bag with the supplies inside of it, the surgical spirits and the palm reading book, over to Rina's closed bedroom door. And instead of knocking, Yoshika just placed the bag right outside the door. She turned around and began walking away. And then as she did, she heard the sound of Rina's door opening just a crack. And Yoshika, she quickly turned around and she saw a tiny skinny arm reach out from behind the door. It grabbed the bag and then pulled the bag back into the room, and the door shut and locked. Last year, me and old Singalung were camping out on the summit of one of Louisiana's many mountaintops when suddenly we heard a small ruckus coming up the side of the mountain. Worried it was a rogue salmon who had learned to breathe air and walk on land and it was now coming up here to consume me and Singalung, we didn't hesitate. We drew our machetes and began blindly swinging them around, shredding our tent to bits and severely wounding ourselves in the process. But after those 45 minutes were up and we opened our eyes and we dropped our machetes, we looked around and realized there are no rogue fish because they don't exist. This was a bit of an overreaction. And so now, staring down a very cold and miserable night up in the mountains without our tent that we destroyed, Singalung and I did the only thing anyone would do in this situation. We signed up for DraftKings. Now, did this save us from the deadly cold that night? No, we literally died. But did it get us jacked up about the football season? Yes! So jacked up, in fact, that I'm teaming up with DraftKings to make sure all you strange, dark, and mysterious aficionados out there get to experience the pure joy of spending an entire day constantly checking scores on your phone, only to then lose on the last leg of a 16-game parlay, sending you into an uncontrolled rage that involves you running around your dentist office, screeching like an owl. So if that sounds as appealing as I think it does, then go ahead and download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use promo code MrBallin and then bet $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code MrBallin only at DraftKings Sportsbook. "3 days later, on April 18th, 2018, Yoshika was sitting in the kitchen reading a book when she overheard her brother, Takahiro, chatting with Rina. Now, Takahiro and Rina were not facing each other in the same room talking. Rina was still in her bedroom, her door was closed, and Takahiro was outside of her bedroom, and he was just sitting on the ground with his back to the door, talking through the door to Rina. Now, this was not unusual, because unlike Yoshika and Rina, who did not have a good relationship, and who really didn't talk at all, Takahiro and Rina did have a good relationship, and they would do this fairly often. They would chat through the door for like hours at a time. And so for a minute, Yoshika kind of ignored her brother and sister chatting and focused again on her book. But at some point, she began hearing what her brother was saying, and it was just totally weird. And so she put her book down and just began listening to Takahiro. And what he was saying was, "How can you do that? That doesn't make any sense. How? Only your soul? How?" Yoshika sensed that her brother was confused and maybe upset about something, and so she couldn't help herself. She put her book down, and Yoshika walked out to the living room and looked down at her brother to see if he would kind of give her some indication of what was going on. But when Takahiro looked up and saw Yoshika, he and Rina stopped talking, and Takahiro just shook his head, stood up, and walked away. After Takahiro was gone, Yoshika very quietly walked over to Rina's bedroom door, and just out of curiosity, she pressed her ear up against the wood and tried to listen to see if she could maybe hear Rina and catch something she was saying that would begin to explain what she had just overheard. But all she heard was the sound of Rina slowly shuffling towards the back of her bedroom where her bed was, and then it was totally silent. And so Yoshika moved away from the door and went back into the kitchen, and she sat down to read again, but she couldn't focus on the book because it was like this wave of sadness was just coming over her. And the reason Yoshika was feeling this way is she was thinking about the fact that back in the day when she was a kid, her and Rina used to be as close as sisters could possibly be, and for much of their lives, they were very close. Even after Rina began this kind of reclusive lifestyle, they still, were friends. They interacted. But something happened in 2013, 5 years earlier, that totally severed their relationship for good. On that day, Rina had emerged from her bedroom, and Yoshika offered to read Rina's palm. This was something the two sisters did for each other periodically. It was like a way for them to bond. And so Rina held out her hand, and Yoshika took it, and she began tracing a long horizontal line across her palm. Now, Rina's hands were different than most people's hands. Rina had something called a simian line, which is a very rare thing on people's palms. It's like this long horizontal line that runs the length of your hand. In palm reading, a simian line can be either very good or very bad. It can indicate that the person is a visionary or a mystic, so that's the good side, or it can indicate that this person has a terrible disease or they're very aggressive. So that's the bad side. Rina knew she had the simian line, and she believed that it represented something good. She would say that she had a visionary soul. But on this particular day in 2013, the family had recently been banned from a local supermarket because Rina had actually gone to this market and gotten really upset with some staff members and totally lost her cool and screamed and yelled at them, and so they had been banned. And so Yoshika, thinking about this, she's looking at Rina's palm and she goes, "Oh, the simian line. Maybe this is why you were acting so aggressive at the supermarket. Maybe this means you're an aggressive person." But after Yoshika said this, Rina was so offended that she whipped her hand back and began screaming and yelling at Yoshika, calling her an idiot and saying, "You don't understand the vision that I have. I'm going to show the world someday this vision, and you and those idiots down at the grocery store would never understand." And then Rina began beating and punching and kicking Yoshika, and Yoshika's screaming and trying to protect herself. And then Takahiro, the brother, had to run in and separate the two of them. Now, even though Rina was prone to these angry outbursts, this was the first time that she had lashed out physically, and so Rina's mother was concerned that Rina had some underlying condition that was causing her to lash out physically, and so she sent Rina to the doctor. And the doctor would say, there is no underlying condition that led to this. However, it seems pretty clear that Rina is having some kind of psychological breakdown and needs psychiatric treatment, maybe even hospitalization. But Rina had totally rejected this, refused to get treatment, and blamed everything on Yoshika. And then after that, Rina really stopped leaving her bedroom. She left like once every couple of months before that, but now she basically stayed in there 24/7. And at the same time, Rina Rina had added all these new rules that her family now needed to follow to allow Rina to be able to focus on her master work while she was in her bedroom. And that included no one having house keys and adding those 4 locks to the door. Also, the family was told to learn the new dialect of Japanese that Rina had created. This way, no one would ever understand what they were talking about. It would kind of protect them even more from the evils of the outside world. Also, Rina made sure her family got rid of all of their telephones, their TVs, and their computers. And so Yoshika would sit in the kitchen for a bit longer, thinking about how sad it was that she had lost this relationship with her sister. And, Yoshika had a lot of regret about what she had said about the simian line. But eventually, like always, Yoshika just kind of pushed her feelings for Rina down. And before long, Yoshika was back to reading her book. For the next several weeks, Yoshika would see her brother, Takahiro, sitting up against the door to Rina's bedroom more often than usual, having these kind of hushed conversations through the door with Rina. Also, Yoshika began to notice that Takahiro was now cooking all of Rina's meals. Normally, their mother was the one who cooked Rina's food, but now Takahiro seemed to have taken over that task entirely. As for Yoshika, because she was primarily in charge of being the one to constantly clean the house, that meant she was the one going into Rina's bedroom and collecting her dirty dishes. And as soon as Takahiro had begun being the cook for Rina, Yoshika began to notice that more and more food was being left on Rina's plates. Basically, Rina wasn't eating as much food as she normally did, and this started to worry Yoshika. Rina was already a very small person. She was 4 foot 11 inches tall, barely 90 pounds, and Yoshika worried that, she really needs to eat. She's already so small, she can't afford to miss meals. And then one day in the middle of May, Yoshika went into Rina's bedroom and she saw all of her dishes were basically completely filled with the food she had been given. She basically had not touched them. And Yoshika, she really never actually spoke to Rina when she was in the bedroom. But this time she just couldn't help herself, and without even looking at Rina, Yoshika, she gathered up the plates full of food and she said, "Rina, you need to eat more of your food." Rina didn't say anything back, and Yoshika, she just quickly turned and walked out of the room. But after that interaction, Takahiro would tell Yoshika that Rina doesn't want you going in her room ever again. And so from now on, the dishes that you would normally collect, Rina will place them right outside of the door. That way, you don't have to go inside that room. Also, around the same time, Rina, who normally would only leave her bedroom to go use the bathroom, well, she began going to the bathroom exclusively at night when her family was asleep to avoid any interaction with them. And so by this point, Rina's interactions with her family were reduced to basically zero. By early August, Takahiro and Yoshika were being sent to the store more and more often by Rina to get more of these surgical spirits, the medical alcohol. Now, neither Takahiro nor Yoshika had any idea what Rina was doing with these surgical spirits, but they knew it was their duty to support her, and so they kept buying them. And what they would do is they would come back home with these bottles, and Takahiro would barely open Rina's door, and he would tuck the bottle inside, and then Rina would take it, the door would shut, and then Rina would never give them her empty bottle. Basically, the bottle went in, and it stayed inside. Then, on August 18th of 2018, Takahiro and Rina appeared to get in some kind of a fight. Yoshika was in the kitchen and she saw that Takahiro was sitting against the door of Rina's bedroom, and the two were having kind of a hushed conversation. And then at some point, Takahiro stood up and he turned around and faced the door and kind of yelled into it, "I told you your soul was not enough." And then Rina said something back to him, at which point Takahiro said, "No, please, please," as if he was kind of begging with Rina to change her mind. And then before Yoshika could come over and ask Takahiro what was going on, Takahiro just opened up Rina's bedroom door and walked inside, and suddenly the house went completely silent. Yoshika was too nervous to walk over and look inside of the room, and so she just stayed in the kitchen and listened. And for 15 minutes, it was absolute silence. And then Takahiro walked out of Rina's bedroom, shut the door behind him, and he looked very calm. And at this point, Yoshika looked over at him and said, "What's going on?" And Takahiro, he would just smile and tell Yoshika that Rina's masterwork is nearly completed. And then Takahiro asked Yoshika if she remembered when Rina had said, at some point her master work was going to require some direct help from the family. But she said, we'll know when the time is right for us to participate. And Yoshika would say, "Yes, I remember that." And Takahiro said, "Well, the time is now." Then Takahiro told Yoshika that they had to go to the store and get more surgical spirits. And so really without questioning him, Yoshika went with him. They went to the store and they would purchase 3 times the normal amount of surgical spirits that they normally would. And then when they got home, Takahiro alone would go into Rina's bedroom with these surgical spirits. He would shut the door behind him, and Yoshika just sat in the kitchen for about 10 minutes until Takahiro came out again, no longer carrying these surgical spirits. And he would come over to Yoshika and he would say, Rina is ready to reconcile with you. She wants you to sit by the door and talk to her. And if you do that, you can be more involved in creating her masterwork. And at this news, Yoshika felt a mixture of frustration and relief. She had never thought it was fair that Rina had so completely cut her off after that 2013 Simian line joke she made while palm reading. Also, Rina had made Yoshika's life so difficult for so long. I mean, Yoshika had basically been forced to give up her dreams of playing the piano, and she had to give up her friends and all of her life ambitions and goals to just support Rina. But despite all of that, deep down, Yoshika missed Rina terribly. They did used to be so close. She wanted to have that relationship again. And so Yoshika walked over to Rina's closed bedroom door. She sat down against it, and at first, she didn't say anything, and Rina didn't say anything either. But then at some point, it was like the floodgates just opened, and Yoshika kind of began pouring her heart out about how sad she was, about how her and Rina's relationship had really gone south and how she wanted to fix it. And now normally, on the rare times that Yoshika would talk through the door to Rina, like when she was trying to open it up to drop something off or whatever it was, oftentimes Rina would just start banging on something inside of the room, kind of to tell Yoshika to stop talking and go away. But as Yoshika sat there pouring her heart out to Rina through the door, the one thing Yoshika noticed was there was no pounding coming from inside the room. Rina was listening to her. And then the next day, after Yoshika and Takahiro had gone to the store again and gotten more surgical spirits and brought them back to the house, instead of just Takahiro being allowed to enter Rina's bedroom, this time Yoshika was allowed to join. And so Takahiro and Yoshika, they went into the dark bedroom, and Rina was laying on the bed, and they walked over to her, and Takahiro showed Yoshika what they needed to do. It was the last step of this masterwork project that Rina was working on. They basically needed to rub these surgical spirits all over Rina's body. Now, Yoshika didn't really understand why they were doing this, but she respected that this was part of Rina's plan, and frankly, Yoshika was just happy to be included in creating this masterwork, and so she didn't really ask any questions. And so after the brother and sister had rubbed this alcohol all over Rina for about 10 minutes, they walked back outside, they shut the door, and then Yoshika, she stayed back and sat down against the door and kind of poured her heart out again to Rina, and it was just very therapeutic. And in many ways, this was the first time that Yoshika was feeling happy again. I mean, she was finally starting to repair this relationship with Rina. And so over the next several weeks, this became Yoshika's new daily routine. Her and her brother would get all these surgical spirits, they'd come home, they'd rub them all over Rina, and then over the course of the day, Yoshika would stop by the door and chat with Rina through it, and that was it. And then on September 25th, 2018, after Yoshika and Takahiro had applied these surgical spirits to Rina's body, Yoshika told Rina that she had a very special surprise for her. Yoshika was in a really good mood this day because, one, she was feeling really good about her new relationship with her sister, but also, two, when she had gone to the pharmacy earlier with her brother, normally they didn't have any interaction with the pharmacist who sold the surgical spirits, mostly because Yoshika and her brother did their best to kind of like hide themselves and make it very clear they were not looking to talk. But on this particular day, the pharmacist had been very talkative and was trying to talk to Yoshika, and Yoshika, she decided she would talk back. Now, their conversation was not very substantive. Basically, the pharmacist finally had asked Yoshika, why are you buying all these surgical spirits? And Yoshika would say, oh, they're for my sister Rina, and, she needs more and more of them every day, and, she's working on something special, and we don't really know what it is, but this is part of it, and we know whatever she's doing, it's going to be worth it. And so even though this conversation seems kind of meaningless, for Yoshika, who had virtually no contact with other people, it was great having that little talk. And so when she came home, she just felt ready to do something special for Rina. And so after Yoshika and Takahiro had left Rina's bedroom after applying these surgical spirits, Yoshika went to go give Rina her surprise. And so Yoshika, she walked over to the family piano that was not far from Rina's bedroom door. And Yoshika, she was nervous, but she sat down on the bench and she opened up the lid and she placed her fingers on the keys. Yoshika's big surprise was she was going to play a song called The Waltz of the Flowers, which is a famous piece of classical music that was inspired by the composer's love for his sister. And so Yoshika thought this was the perfect song to finally play in this house for Rina. She'll see that I love her so much. And so Yoshika, she began to play the song, and as she did, she was constantly listening to see if Rina would start banging on something to tell Yoshika to stop. But again, she didn't. It was quiet. And so Yoshika, she played this beautiful song. And then when it was all over, again, Yoshika's listening carefully for Rina to yell out or be mad that she's playing this loud music in the house. But it was just quiet. And so again, Yoshika just felt this closeness to her sister. And before long, Yoshika felt tears of happiness coming down her cheeks. But then, as Yoshika closed the lid of the piano, she did hear a banging, but it wasn't coming from Rina's bedroom. It was coming from the front door. And then a moment later, Yoshika heard someone scream from outside the front door, "Police, open up!" But before Yoshika could go to the door to open it, her mother had ran to the door. She opened all 4 locks, but then only opened it a crack and tried to yell at the police to go away, go away. But the police, they were kind of pushing on the door, trying to get the mother to get out of the way. And Yoshika, she kind of moved over and looked through the crack. And she saw it wasn't just a couple of police officers. It was a whole army of police officers and firefighters and EMTs. There was an ambulance. And then before long, the police officer that had been yelling, open up, he finally just pushed and got the door open all the way. And then a swarm of people in uniforms flooded the home. And as soon as all these officers were in the house, they immediately began opening up every door like they were looking for something. And then finally they got to Rina's bedroom and they opened the door. And as soon as they did, Yoshika watched as the officers just stopped at the doorway and they began cussing and yelling and turning their faces away. And then the officers went into Rina's bedroom. And then a minute later, they began talking on their radio. And then EMTs came into the house with a stretcher. They went into Rina's bedroom. And then before long, Yoshika, Takahiro, and their mother watched as the stretcher came out again with these officers and EMTs, and on the stretcher was Rina, and she looked terrible. Her eyes were sunken back in her head, and her skin was so pale it was practically see-through. I mean, really, she just kind of looked like a skeleton. The real story of what happened inside of that family's home would quickly become international news. And not because Rina was secretly creating a masterwork of art in her bedroom. Here's what really happened. Rina stopped eating food in April of 2018. She would say that the only thing she needed to be nourished was her visionary soul. And so basically, because she had this visionary soul, she didn't need food. That was the conversation that Yoshika had overheard between Takahiro and Rina when Takahiro was saying, "Only your soul? How? Well, he was trying to figure out how Rina was going to survive by being nourished by her soul. It didn't make any sense. Fast forward 4 months to August 18th, and again, Yoshika had overheard her brother and her sister talking through the bedroom door, except on this day, it sounded like Takahiro was fighting with Rina, because at some point he had stood up and yelled through the door, "I told you your soul wasn't enough!" And then he had busted inside of Rina's bedroom and stayed in there in silence for 15 minutes, only to come back out again and very calmly tell Yoshika that, "Don't worry, Rina is nearing the end of her master work, and we just need to go out and get her more surgical spirits." Well, it would turn out the reason Takahiro was mad and yelled through the door at Rina is because he was trying to talk to her through the door and she wasn't talking back. And he suspected it was because she wasn't eating, and so he had yelled at her about that and then barged into her room only to find Rina totally unresponsive, not moving, not talking, nothing. And so he just stood there wondering what to do. And so as Takahiro is standing there, it clicks for him that now is the time. Now's the time to get involved. And so Takahiro left the bedroom, he grabbed Yoshika, they went to the pharmacy, they got more surgical spirits, they came back, and Takahiro alone went into Rina's bedroom and covered her head to toe in these spirits, because that was something she had wanted him to do before, and he believed that that's what she needed right now, because she can't talk, she can't move, she needs more of these spirits. That's going to help her visionary soul nourish her while she completes this master work. And for the next month, Takahiro and Yoshika would continue to apply these spirits to Rina's body, believing they were helping her complete her master work. On September 25th, when Yoshika and Takahiro were at the pharmacy getting more spirits, the reason this pharmacist finally struck up a conversation with Yoshika is because over time, the pharmacist had noticed that every time they came in to buy these surgical spirits, they smelled so bad. And on this particular day, when they came in, the stench was just overwhelming. And so the pharmacist finally had asked Yoshika, like, what are these surgical spirits for? And Yoshika would give this totally weird answer about how the spirits were for her sister and she was working on this master work in her bedroom and it was all going to be worth it. And so when Yoshika and Takahiro had left that day, the pharmacist was just so weirded out and alarmed by them that he called the police. And when the police arrived at the family's home, they discovered that Rina was not building a masterwork in her bedroom, she was just dead in her bed, and had been for 6 weeks. Rina died around August 18th, which is the day that Takahiro came into the room and discovered her unresponsive, which meant there was never any reconciliation happening between Yoshika and Rina. It's unclear why Takahiro had told Yoshika, hey, Rina's ready to reconcile with you, because again, Rina was dead at the time, so there's no way she would have said anything to him. And so when Yoshika was having these supposed heart-to-hearts through the door with her sister or playing music for her, that wasn't real. The only real thing that was happening is Yoshika and Takahiro, from August 18th until the end of September when the police busted into their home, they would spend nearly every day rubbing this weird medical alcohol all over their dead sister's body because that's what they believed she wanted, when in reality, all this alcohol was doing was actually mummifying her body. Yoshika, Takahiro, and their mother were all charged with preventing a proper and decent burial. As for Rina, her cause of death could not actually be determined, but based on what she looked like, they assumed she died from starvation. The court would eventually drop the charges against the family, saying that basically the family was too mentally ill to stand trial. And this was because the court had discovered that Yoshika, Takahiro, and their mother actually had not accepted that Rina was dead. They believed she was actually still alive, that all the work they had done rubbing those spirits on her had nourished her soul, and she was still working on this master work. And as of a few years ago, the family is still living in that same cottage, and it's not clear if they ever actually came to understand that Rina was in fact dead.
What the fuck?
All right, it's finally happening. This October 20th, I will be at the famous Paramount Theater in Austin, Texas for my first ever live, in-person storytelling event. So if you want to be immersed in the strange, dark, and mysterious with me in the flesh, then you need to get your tickets now before they sell out. Click the link. So that's going to do it. If you enjoyed today's story, be sure to check out our podcast called the Mr. Ballin Podcast, where we have literally...
All right. That was insane to watch. Yeah, I think most of you just couldn't watch that, could you? I have a strong stomach, and I mean breakfast for this. Evil Brothers Deadly Plan caught on camera. What? What's this again? Oh my god. Did we watch this? Remember. Alright. It's been a minute. So, I love Mr. Ballin. I really do. I would love to see him live, but of course I can't because, I am in a situation where I cannot do shit. Hopefully I'll get my Norwegian citizenship next month. I will get to know that hopefully on the 9th of October. Early morning for me, like in the middle of the night for most of you. on the other side of the pond or the Atlantic. But yeah, I'm really hoping that I get it because it was expensive. I had to pay like $230 for that. Um, actually, more like 300. Almost. I had to pay almost 300. Or was it 270? Something like that. Somewhere between $250 and $300. I can't exactly remember. But I've handed it in. Hopefully, I'll get the papers that I need before then. Speaking of which, I should probably do that after the stream, and after I've gone with my friend to her appointment to see about if I actually have the papers that they have been sent to me, so I can actually print them out. But I'm thinking we do some. I'm not sure what game we should play really because I need to like get ready for certain things. Do you guys mind if I just check on Baldur's Gate because I want to see if our save actually saved. Hey, what's that? Quit scratching at my chair. Not how this works. He just wants attention because I'm talking to you. He was scratching at my. He's not supposed to do that. He knows he's not supposed to do that. I'm looking down at him and actually telling him is that. It's also raining quite a bit. I was thinking about doing makeup today, but I'm not so sure right now. Because I don't want to like put on makeup and not feel like having it. It's just probably because I'm still feeling a little bit sleepy. Okay, this is weird. This is new. I'm not used to this. Okay, something's happening. Alright, it's working. Well, it's loading. Ah, fuck. Oh no. Please tell me it's not broken. I just want to check if our save is okay, you know, because it says it didn't sync and it won't sync for some odd reason. So I'm thinking of just, seeing if it will. And yeah. Fast it, quit it. Nej, ner. Down. Down. I know you want attention, but still, it's not going to like be okay right now. Just stop. Russ is being. He's also reacting a lot to his name. And again, he is. Well, now he's over 6 years old. In human years, he's in his 40s. Cat years. I think he's just feeling lonely. Baste. Baste. What, are you itching on your ears? Is that it? Yeah. Make me. Oh, it's kind of stormy out. I'm gonna wait a little bit with the decision on putting on makeup. If it's this stormy, I don't want to put on makeup. Okay, so Yeah, we left it at the astral plane, so it did sync. Okay, cool. I was just checking Baldur's Gate, really. It's not a big deal. Okay, so it did sync. Wait, why is it saying it didn't sync? Do I seriously need to go into the game itself? Ugh. You know what? Fine. Fine. Just wanted to check it. I didn't want to exactly play the entire thing because once I get into it, it's like, I don't want to stop. I don't want to stop. Now, since it's raining this much, I think makeup is out of the question. I just washed my face and stuff like that. Because I need to meet her at like um around 12 downtown because we're taking the bus since she doesn't want to drive with going to her appointment because she's really anxious about it. My friend's really anxious about her appointment. I'm not gonna say what where we're going. She just doesn't like going well, she's actually going to check for like you know those darker patches you have on your skin, like birthmarks, kind of like those. Yeah, some of those are a little bit uncomfortable for her, and she's scared that they might turn into something different because they're really dark on her, and she doesn't want to get skin cancer or any kind of cancer at all. So it's what she's afraid of, and you know, seeing us that they might actually remove. I think they're going to be removing some of those patches. That she's really anxious about that, and I'm just going with her to be like a moral support thing because I've been in situations like that before, like with other friends of mine. Like they've gone to appointments, but you know, changed their minds because they just couldn't go through with it. But yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna see if like we can go into the game, see if we are in the exact same place as we were earlier, and you know, it actually saved instead of it being a different save. And Brandy, of course, have a good rest if you didn't see my message earlier. But of course, I appreciate everyone who is here, and we are still 3 away from our 250 goal. Hopefully, we'll get that before the 31st. I do have everything I need for the Day of the Dead makeup. It's just more or less that I need to figure it out. But I think I'll be having a blue theme. And, oh, we're talking to him now. Okay.
I told you it has become something more.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna check something. Deal with the devil, free Orpheus, gather your allies. Ironhead gnomes no longer have to contend with the Gondian. We can rely on their aid. Okay. Bolo, Helson, Arbella, Floric, strange creature, Isabel, named Aelin. Valyria feels indebted to us for having saved her from an untimely death. She and her city watch are prepared to support us in the final battle. The Gur people and the Nine Fingers. Yes. Okay. All right. Yeah, but with no means of breaking Orpheus from his prison. Okay. With that being said, all right. The last thing we have is the last save we had was Morphic Pools, Astral Planes, and then this one. So, um, oh shit. No, that was not what I was trying to click. I double clicked by accident. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. That was not the plan. That was not the plan. Fuck. I accidentally clicked because I was coughing a little bit there. Yes. It's been a strange little morning today. I know I said I wasn't going to be streaming today, but I woke up so early that I was like, stream a little bit. Like a surprise stream for like an hour or two, maybe. You know, seeing as what time it is, I need to stop at like 9 so I can like see if I need to do makeup, like if I can do makeup because I would like to. But since it's stormy outside, I still want to like wash my face and get, you know, all my pores clean and all that because I feel like my skin needs that. Yeah, we're not gonna stay in here. We're gonna... So instead of going to the astral plane and getting to the brain straight away, I think we might want to try and get the means to free Orpheus, if I'm being honest, because I don't want to, like, consume him, if that makes sense. But I'm not so sure that we have the gold to do that. But I'm gonna see if we can or can't. It's just more or less that I would like to not have to get. Other than that particular thing, I'm not so sure that we want to go up against the Emperor, but I also don't want him to take the Nether Stones, and I really don't want to turn into a illithid for the rest of my days. My character, that is. But yes. On that note, I'm just trying to figure out like what to do. Because I want to have like different things here and there. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a lot of weird stuff going on. So as of right now, we haven't done the exploring the... We can't go to the oh, what was it again? The doing the drowned, because I don't know how to do that because we haven't done much of that anyway. Would I like to finish the game? Yes, but at this point I want to like go back and do all the side quests because that's who I am. I don't understand it myself, but I am like entirely...
Something's on my mind. Noble Stalk is what... Go on then.
Did we have everything here? I think we have most of everything that we want, being honest. That's funny. Let's see. Because everybody's different, and it's like... For... Wait, scroll invisibility. of C invisibility. That's okay. So what? That's what those two are. Let's see.
Where am I needed?
I'm not so sure we need the tip. So I want to sell those.
One move ahead. Sure, why not?
Well, I am to browse. If you are a city official here to collect.
Yeah, we already collected that actus with the star
Welcome
in.
back. Enjoy our unmatched.
We managed to actually trick him into giving that. Temporary hit points. Okay, so I have 9 of those, and I just don't see the point. Sell 5 of those. See. Oh, that rapier. That's what that was. God damn it. Huh. I think we need this. Hmm. We don't have Chihiro. She died. Sorry. So that's of no use to us. Else. Hmm. That's what. Yeah. Okay. There.
All's well that ends. Not as bad as it could have. Light on my feet.
So this is where we need to go. Those fee.
It's so
Sure.
pretty.
A very good idea, but good.
You go in first. It was your idea.
I'm telling you, that flaming fist was winking at me.
My fingers were crossed. I'm not going in there and getting swallowed by a devil.
My most prospective customer. Welcome back. My offer still stands.
Damn.
You put me in a difficult position, mortal. You are almost certain to fail. Almost. And so, there is a chance you might succeed. Fine. I'd like to be able to carry all of my precious stock without the need of a team of oxen. There are gauntlets of hill giant strength within the House of Hope. Free passage, and you fetch them for me. Deal? Allow me to outline how this is going to work. First, you were never here. We never spoke. Second, you will perform the rites yourself. I want absolute deniability. Here's the grimoire and necessary components. Oh, take this key, too. It unlocks the ritual room upstairs. There's a blood circle already drawn. Don't ask whose blood.
Along with the grimoire and components, Helsik hands you a note containing precise instructions for performing the ritual.
Finally, you were never here. That is of utmost import to remember. Now be gone!
Okay. We might have to persuade her. I'm not charging us. Which is really good. Us. But I have to get her something. But that's okay. Interesting.
Always room for more.
I strongly suggest that you reconsider this course of action. Whatever you expect to gain from the Hells is not worth the risk of traveling there uninvited.
I am considering all my options.
Open up.
Let's see. Nice.
What now? Simple.
Very, actually.
This is genuinely infernal.
So much for Curios and Traveler Tat.
Sweet.
What to do?
Oh, she didn't want us in here. She wouldn't have. She shouldn't have let us up.
Like that'll fit in my pack. Swift as my feet can carry me.
All right. See. Place a skull on the start point near the altar. Point of Mammon on next point to the right. Hmm. I'm gonna have to look this up. In case I don't want to get this wrong and die. Um. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Why isn't there a picture?
You are wise to reject the devil's offer, but there is no reason to provoke him by invading his home.
We're going. I mean, why wouldn't we? Alrighty. Let's see.
I don't hear the Emperor.
You came. Such a shame. Curiosity killed all the cats. It won't be so kind to you.
As the woman speaks, you hear a distant rattle of chains, and she winces in pain.
The jailer will hear us. I shouldn't be talking to you. I must go. It's not kind to me.
The figure flickers and starts to dim from view, but you sense she could be convinced to return. The figure shimmers brightly. Your words seem to have piqued her curiosity.
I hope so. But it is a faint hope. Just like me. I can't leave. I could only suffer. But I'm supposed to do that in silence. Everyone here hates me for what I am. I'm the thing that kills you and the only reason you're alive. Made by a promise, undone by the truth. A handshake, a hug, the first beat of a newborn's heart. I am hope. What little is left of her. A guttering candle in a universe of night. I'm not much of a friend to anyone anymore. But I could use a friend myself. Do you want a friend to guide you through this madhouse? I hear the jailer. It hears me. It'll call Raphael, make every question count. Make some of them count twice. discovered an ancient Gith prince in need of a savior? The Orphic Hammer is the perfect tool for breaking all infernal chains. Hope can help. The hammer is here in this house. It's...
You hear a sound like the rattle of a chain, and an agonizing scream in your head as hope flickers from view momentarily.
Shh. Quiet. There it goes. Everyone here is mad. Even you, especially me. And that makes them dangerous, but it also makes them stupid. I'll make you seem as ruined as the rest of the people here. A simple glamour to make you a terrible wretch. Now whisper your questions, little wretch. But really quiet and very clever. Concentrate.
Nice.
Remember, quiet as a mouse. You can't help me. You can't even help yourself. You're gonna die here. You ask after me rather than your own heart's desire. It would bring a tear to my eye if I had not shed them all so long ago. The hammer is the key for you and for me. The same place you'll find your sorry little soul when Raphael rips it out. In the archive down the corridor past the debtor. Oh, the debtors. They won't like you. But I like you. I know I do. I think I do. I hope I do. I just need to ask one question, and I'll know for sure. Can you save me? Please, 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 please. All right. You have to listen very, very, very closely. I will say this only once. Find the key, take the hammer, smash my chains. Find the key, take the hammer, smash my chains. Find the key, take the hammer, smash my chains. But be careful, when you take the hammer, the fire will come, and Raphael, you must run, 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 run. But don't forget me. Please, please, please. I don't want to burn. Not again.
The rattle of chains echoes louder from unseen places, and without a scream or a sigh, hope disappears.
Okay. Let's save here. Oh boy.
Don't touch me. A crooked touch.
Nice.
interesting times.
They're eating me from the inside.
Have to keep going.
You look positively wretched. Perfect.
Raphael sees everything you do. I'm not like the others.
Am I alone here? I can't see, I can't hear, I can't feel.
No traps, please. That might be worth a look.
The spilt wine is laced with the perfume of an exquisite poison. An unexpected treat.
Interesting.
I've been awake for 100 years. Let me rest.
Something over there.
Nice.
I'll take that.
Let me
Careful, I bite.
No one back home will ever believe this. How much farther can I go? Let's see what this does. Something good here, I hope.
I thought you'd got lost and died.
Such a
Keep a blade
beautiful
close.
house.
Oh, for a skeleton
Such
key.
a beautiful prison.
All right. What now? Another step forward. I'll give it a shot.
Hey, we're back here.
Raphael sees everything you do.
Hmm.
What a day. Let's go. Don't mind if I do. What's that?
Summoned Master Raphael, and I hadn't finished dusting the artifacts. Been most annoyed. This is...
Here we go.
There it is. The Orphic Hammer. A magical field surrounds the item, preventing you or anyone from touching it. You surmise it's controlled by a vocal component. Magic words. Nothing happens. The Orphic Hammer. When the Orphic Hammer strikes like thunder, even astral chains are torn asunder.
cataclysms. Doesn't matter, because it was the wrong crime. You didn't steal what you came for. But there's no turning back. You need to leave. But without the hammer, you can't take me anywhere. Find the hammer! Cross the hall! Break my chains! Quick as a cockroach! Lickety!
That which you seek is still so close. Before you can reach out, a compulsion in your... Nothing happens.
Interesting. I see something on my wall. I am not really appreciative about it. I think I can reach it. So this is a problem. Okay.
Breathe deep and move.
This place is all entrances and no exits.
How delicious. Hardly a challenge.
Never a dull moment. One day I'll catch a break.
Okay.
Hello again, little mouse. The price for speaking is steep, but I must give warning. Your prize is just ahead in the archive, but you can't take it yet. And even if you could, you mustn't. Trigger the alarm, and Raphael will come swooping home on wings of malice to rip out your soul. In this place, thieves are melted like butter and spread onto toast. Shh. I'm doing it again. I'm doing it again. I can. I shall. I can. I shall. The archivist is the key, but he's as stubborn as a king and as serious as a heart attack. Exploit his fiddling weakness and make him grovel! Oh no. They hear me. Speak quickly, speak softly. You know how this goes.
You steady your mind and prepare your questions.
He fears authority figures. Perhaps his teacher took a strap to him and left a deep impression at an early age. There's one regular visitor that he particularly fears. She is...
A crack like breaking bone. Hope winces.
Scarier things than you, little mice. Verilius Receptor. A High Inquisitor of Zariel. Officially entitled to audit Raphael's collection. Her true form is so gargantuan and mind-scarring to behold that she takes on many guises when she visits. Play your part well and you can be one of those blasphemous guises.
Let's have a look.
Claws inside my throat.
That might be worth a look.
The spilt wine is laced with the perfume of an exquisite poison. An unexpected treat.
With pleasure. Yes, please. Moving. Hello, chum.
A guest? Are you a client of the Master, or a visitor from elsewhere in the Hells? I do not believe you were invited. One moment. I shall consult the visitor's schedule. Most irregular. The schedule is all but clear, and yet you are here.
Everyone.
1,000 apologies, O majestic magistrate of the Infernal Court. Your mortal guise is so vile, I found it perfectly convincing. I would prostrate myself before you and kiss your calluses, but my spine is ruptured in 1,000 places. You do know how Raphael likes to play. As always, the archive is yours to peruse. You'll find everything accounted for, and I can present documents of procurement if necessary.
Hello, Pico.
You may examine them, O diabolical dominatrix, but they cannot be removed unless you present a writ of infernal requisition with Article 152 correctly filled out. An exquisite and most unique artifact, crafted with materials hewn from the depths of the Hells by Raphael's Merrigan labor force. As it was created by Raphael himself, we have no documents of procurement, nor do we require any. But if you wish to examine the artifact itself, you are more than welcome. As part of the special collection, that item is guarded by a master word that even I do not know. I suggest you wait until Raphael returns, and you can discuss the matter with him. You are welcome to relax in the boudoir until then. It is where Raphael conducts his most private matters of business and pleasure. You will need this to gain access. The resident of the boudoir will wish to explore every inch of your new form, and I'm sure you will be happy to share.
What are we here?
Wait. Save the game again. There.
What's that?
An infernal gem seething in its cage, protecting the secrets of its master. An infernal gem seething in its cage, protecting the secrets of its master.
Damn.
An infernal gem seething in its cage, protecting the secrets of its master. Show your invitation.
Are you kidding me?
An infernal gem seething in its cage, protecting the secrets of its master.
Damn.
Can't give up now. Might be useful. Should mind my step. Anything of use?
Hurt me, please.
Go. All right.
Hmm.
I heard a step upon the boards. As something. You look positively wretched. Perfect. When is a door not a door? When it's a jam. You won't find a way out here. Or a way in. This is the chamber of egress. The portals here crisscross the planes, but they won't open to the likes of you and me. This is how Raphael consults with his clients so efficiently, no matter the time, no matter the place, and it's how he stalks his prey.
Oh my god. King Dragon, thank you so much for the 100 biddies. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you.
Help myself. Easy.
Such a beautiful house. Oh, such a beautiful prison.
Yeah, she's red. I know. Gonna save the game here because we're actually getting quite a lot of useful things right now. I think the Emperor abandoned us because we are going to try and free Orpheus. But that's their problem. Okay. Where?
How do I still owe so much?
I thought you'd got lost and died. The archivist told you to cool off in the boudoir. Well, here it is. A horrid place where pleasure is pain, and pain is pleasure, and hope cannot live at all. Everything in this house exists for Raphael's pleasure, and Raphael's pleasure alone. That includes Raphael himself, whatever form he takes.
Okay. I appreciate the biddies. I really do. Thank you.
To be nothing, to be gone for good.
That's curious.
It's hot. It's cold. It's hot. It's cold.
Nice. Let's see. We're just gonna do a new save. Okay. Save. Mode.
A lost little mouse is running through the house. A thief in the night, greedy and here to take. Why you here, little thief? Raphael? Ha! No. You will have a far crueler master than Raphael soon. But what inspired you to pay him a visit? This is very naughty. Whatever are we to do? Why don't we play a game? You win, I give you everything you desire. But you'll enjoy yourself more if you lose. It's a surprise. Off with your clothes.
Oh, whatever.
Good little thief. Good. Keep going like this. And you'll get to live. You'll be crying out my name soon. You'd better know it. I am Harlip, Raphael's personal incubus, glamoured and transfigured to look like him. I'm a perfect copy. He only ever wants to sleep with himself. What's better than the devil you know, eh?
His violating stare sees more than all of you. It sees potential.
Before we continue, I want to make sure you're comfortable.
Sometimes, when he's feeling adventurous, Raphael will ask me to change into the Archduchess, Raphael. I can take her form if you choose. A simple swap pales in comparison to what you were about to do for me. Then the Archduchess I shall be. On the bed. Lie back.
Any thought of resistance or control is fading. You will obey, giving yourself body and mind to them.
What the hell did I just step into?
Every kiss is as tender as a last goodbye, every touch a lie of true love. It is every sensation of a lifetime of love all at once. Your body trembles with impossible expectation. Unable to resist, a voiceless scream erupts from your mouth. Harlip.
You are so delicious.
The moment she joins with you, your mind folds over double. As she continues to lavish herself upon your helpless form, you stop breathing. Your heart stops beating. And your mind begins to clear entirely. Some last thought whispers in your skull, vacated by everything else but rapture. This is the end.
Devote yourself to pleasure eternal. Stay here with me, This can be forever.
This is not good.
Try as you will, every part of you craves to melt right into him.
A brilliant choice. Vow that your body belongs to me. Give yourself to me, and I will tell you what you wish to know.
As she kisses you deeply, it feels as familiar as breathing. A last cascade of pleasure washes over you, greater than the feelings before, but it draws you back into reality.
I can't wait to explore how you work. What gets you going? What makes you sweat? And every time I make love in your shape, you will know. A shiver out of the blue. A tingle from beyond. Now, your reward for giving me such a present. I will tell you one and only one of Raphael's dirty secret. Whisper it to me. What do you want to know? Raphael hides nothing from me, can deny me nothing, aside from what he keeps in his safe. The safe lingers behind the right-hand painting of Raphael. He almost spends more time staring at those portraits than he does at me. Although I'd love to watch you struggle to open the safe without it, this key should help. You've labored enough, pet. Now, shall we bid one another goodbye? Thank you. For you. I will misuse you well.
Damn. Okay, yeah, that price was a little high, wasn't it? Okay.
I've got a long road ahead.
Hmm.
This will help us get what we need from the archive. Moving
Interesting. Only you can glow red? Well, she's glowing red because she's trapped in the hells and she doesn't know any other form.
One step at a time.
Still breathing, despite everything. Let's see.
I see the Orphic hammer.
There it is. The Orphic hammer, right within reach. A magical field surrounds the item, preventing you or anyone from touching it. You surmise it's controlled by a vocal component. Magic words. Magic blinks away at your words.
Ready yourself. Raphael won't give up his treasure without a fight.
Well, hello. This way. That might be worth a look.
No time to rest?
Just rang Raphael's dinner bell. This is delightful. You have what you wanted, but you cannot leave lest all hells break loose. A hopeless situation.
Interesting.
At the ready. Cursed to put my hands on everything.
I've got good news. And bad news. And worst news. Good news. You got what you came for. Successful visit. Great success. Fantastic work. Bad news. So many things will be on fire when you step outside of this room. You included. That's okay, though, right? It's hell. You expected it to be hot. Worst news, Raphael's on his way home, and oh boy, he is spitting mad. You planned for this. I know you did. You have everything under control. It's really important that you don't panic, even when your eyes evaporate from the heat. Come to my prison, bring the hammer, break my chains, and then we exit stage any which way.
It's...
Quick as a cockroach, lickety split, if you don't mind.
Let's see.
Watch your back.
Sharp as ever.
What's next?
At least things have stayed interesting. Seems simple enough.
Yes, here.
finding my way.
Let's end this. On the move.
No holding back.
What should I do?
Where do I go from here?
What's the plan?
No holding back.
You won't be hurting for long.
Let's finish this.
Battle favors the fearless.
Nice.
Need to stay focused.
I've missed this.
concentrate.
Battle favors the fearless.
Let's see. Nice.
Need to find a way forward.
That'll have to do.
No time to waste. Come quickly, come now.
Alright, alright. We'll go straight through. Oh. Okay.
Keep them guessing. No holding back.
Nothing will stand in my way.
Need to act fast.
This is my time.
My faith will protect me.
Hey, well, what do you got for me?
Ready.
On the victor's path.
I can't even catch my breath.
Got to keep fighting.
Make it hurt.
What's in here?
The pride of the gate.
We're on the same side last time I
Looking ahead.
The pride of the gate.
Let's see. There.
Let's move. Moving in. Another day, another fight.
It ain't over.
Be quick.
Forever dauntless. 2 steps at a time.
Time to push my luck again.
On I go.
much for peace.
Talk to me.
Quickly. Something different.
I wonder if this is worth the cost.
Got to focus.
What the fuck? What?
On the victor's path.
Okay, that was very stupid.
Sometimes the only way out is through.
I'm ready.
The blade will not bend.
What now?
Can't give up.
Yes. Battle favors the fearless.
Still on my feet.
Can't afford to let up.
Time to press ahead.
Well.
Hey, let's see.
Careful. The jailer will swallow you whole if you take another step. And you won't be able to save me while you're being digested. You found my prison. My body is held in chains just beyond. The whole house is tumbling down and Raphael's striding across the plains to come catch a mouse. And I swing that big, beautiful hammer, crack open my chains, and let's get out of here. It's time to buy this coop on a hope and a prayer. You sound so brave, but we really don't have a choice.
Best be on my way.
Hammer is almost as sweet a sight as you are. Smash those chains!
This is my time.
Ay, ay, ay. Let's see.
Battle favors the fearless.
Come on. Can't stay idle.
Ready.
Nothing important is ever easy.
I'm ready.
Take your...
I should get these wounds taken care of.
A little help, please.
Take your...
holding back.
I really need their
choice but
bombs.
to keep going.
This is my time.
Oh.
To last much longer.
Not proficient. Great. Fucking great.
On the victor's path.
Still breathing, despite everything.
Time for a cull.
Battle favors the fearless.
Never a dull moment.
On the victor's path. The blade will not bend.
Mm. Oh, I am so blind.
Let's have some fun.
Talk to me.
Blood comes easy these days.
can't give up.
No holding back.
What should I do? On the move. A little help, please.
Very well.
Forever dauntless.
Okay. Alright. What the? Oh, shit.
Your time has come.
Onward.
Let's have some carnage.
Another fight. Let's go.
Hit. Sweet.
Battle favors the fearless.
One less thing to worry about. Roll. It's off. Last one. What? We have another one.
This is my time.
No.
Can't give up. Not now.
Fucking metal.
Take you.
I'll strike you down.
Tormented! This is my time.
can't afford to let up.
I won't give in.
I never thought I would be believed. I could be hoped I might be. Heads will roll! But we must dress the Hollyphant in the room. I can see how you avoid looking at me. I must be so terribly mutilated after all these decades of torture. Don't hold back. Tell me how bad it is. I'd blush if they had left me any skin to redden, and I would kiss you if they had not torn off my lips. You truly are the kindest fool I've ever met. We'll carve our way to the entrance hall and chop Raphael into messes. That's the hopeful version, of course. The likely version is that we are the messes and he is the chopper. Onward!
Okay.
No hesitation.
Whatever comes, I'm ready.
Oh. Okay.
No one stopped me yet. I'll give it a shot.
This one's suffering is forever enshrined in the harrowing arrangement of its bones.
What's inside? And away I go.
What is this?
Someone.
Let's see.
Still alive, so that's progress.
Sharp as ever.
A long way to go still.
Is that blood? No, never mind.
Hey, that fight is over. Saved Hope, we got the hammer. Let's go.
time for chitter chatter. It's tempting to delay the inevitable, but this is it. There is also this
Possibility that we win? Okay. Good to know. She's out of her mind.
Wonder if the gods are watching me.
So, how do we get out of here? That's all right. All right.
Cursed to put my hands on everything.
Where the fuck?
Keep your distance, darling. Quick step.
There are 3 things you need to know about Raphael. He's almost home now, closer than a kiss. His favorite color is blood, and he probably knows 1,000 ways to kill us. This is going to hurt.
Well, in it. Here we go.
And leave. Oh, hell.
Time slows for a moment, and the air becomes thicker. The master of the house is coming.
You. There are many things in your world that I loathe. Litters of kittens, chattering children, the noise and the chaos of it all. In my world, in my house, there is order, and there is decorum. You came here uninvited, and you stole from me. In doing so, you brought the chaos of your world into mine. I will not abide it.
I'm not entirely sure that he won't.
Oh, Hope, you are such a piteous thing. All it takes is a crumb from the table and you forget the centuries of starvation. This insolence has earned you centuries more. Carilla, tell our unwelcome guest about your role in their tragic downfall.
I permitted you the freedom to decide your own fate. You could have been smart, selfless, saved the world. Instead, you came here and risked everything.
It's the fatal flaw of mortal kind. Take away their free will and they call you a tyrant. Allow them to indulge it and they become tyrants. You would have been heroes if you'd only dealt fairly with me. Instead, you're not so different to doomed Carsus.
overreaching your limits and burning your world to ash.
Wrong! 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 They will save their world and smash you to smithereens.
It's this charming naivety that makes your company such a joy to me, Hope. I'll even forgive this little rebellion once you're suitably chastised.
This isn't a rebellion. It's a revolt. I'm revolting!
Then Hope dies today. Commander, you can salvage a trophy from these insects when I'm done with them.
My name is Georgia. These insects understand the honor of hunters better than you ever will, trickster. They help me to eliminate my prey beneath the Shadowlands. Prey that you hoped I would never find. And that's why I helped them find your home.
You did what? I will make you suffer torment so vile, the hells themselves will shudder to see them. And whatever torments I invent for your gear, I will perfect in the centuries I spend toying with your soul. If you have any last words, make it quick. It will only take a moment to finish you. Such a shame. I'll make sure you live long enough to watch it burn. And whether it takes 100 years or 1,000, the crown will be mine eventually. My time will come. Your time is over, little mouse. Now, down comes the claw.
All mortal lives expire. Souls go to their dooms in flame
In the cause, curtain falls, but hold your applause. Squirm, squirm, for now down here come the claws.
lives, all mortal lives expire.
True souls that couldn't be bought, doomed, detected, and caught.
Doom. No more grace. It's over. This house of hope.
Let's finish this.
Forever dauntless.
Go to their dooms in the
Really? You just had to kill me? Fucking joking. Piece of shit.
Doom detected and
Survival is all that matters.
Got to concentrate.
if this is worth the cost.
Forever dauntless.
Are you fucking serious, dude?
Need to stay focused.
Doomed.
Battle favors the fearless.
And hard.
Need to act fast.
Hungry for the slaughter. Make it hurt.
Are you fucking serious, dude? You're killing us here.
This is my time.
Another fight. Let's go.
My faith will protect me.
Let's turn someone inside out.
Still on my feet.
Are you fucking serious, dude?
Last much longer.
Ugh.
Wasn't here.
Got to focus. Have to keep going. Tekuro!
On the victor's path. Fleet of foot. This ends now.
Lives, all mortal lives, expire. Souls go to their dooms in flame
Ready.
Hell has its laws. Hell. Effect in the claw. Curtain falls. Hold your applause. Squirm. For now, down here come the claws.
lives, all mortal lives, expire. Souls go to their dooms in flame forevermore.
Fools, how hard you have fought. Brave, but it's all been for naught. True souls that couldn't be bought. Doomed, detected, and caught. No more deals, it's over. The final act, you're doomed. No more grace, it's over. This house of hope.
like fun. No holding back.
I'm ready.
All right.
I won't give in.
This is my time.
Go for the throat.
Doomed, detected, and caught.
No choice but to keep going.
This feels good. Battle favors the fearless.
screaming the last of our lives as we die screaming. Then we're not just... What a... It is not right that she died. And that makes me want to weep an ocean. She was an entire person before she ever made that choice. When we were children, she always kept the last piece of pastry for me and bloodied the nose of the bullies who pulled my hair. She was my sister. But as a wise woman once said, there's no point in crying over spilt blood. And despite all the years I've lost, I have enough love in my heart to guide you home.
For the first time since you heard her voice, hope seems calm, and the peace flows from her into you, soothing your very soul.
Nowhere but here. I don't quite think I know where anywhere else is anymore. I hope I'll see Corilla again one day, and that she'll say sorry, and I'll tell her she's forgiven. I hope I find all the pieces of my mind, that I hope the echoes, and I hope...
Okay, I'm a little bit impatient right now, so... There is that. No shit. Fuck.
What's hiding here?
Okay, let's see. Sheesh. All the things. Oh.
Defender of the people.
Also, the weather isn't very nice right now, so I'm just wondering.
Never a dull moment.
But you know what?
Better not be cursed.
Oh. Hey, hey, hey. Hello, Dova. Sorry, I just saw your message.
So you wormed your way into the devil's lair, risked mind, limb, and freedom, all to steal the Orphic hammer. I hope your ambitions end there. I have already told you that the Githyanki Prince only wants to see you dead. But it seems you still do not trust me. That is not my definition of trust. You are falling into the same trap as the Chosen. Their distrust of one another is their undoing. We must not make the same mistake. We must work together.
No, I heard my alarm. I woke up right for a bit, but I'm wondering since the weather is so bad. Weather is. I'm going to just. How about you meet me downtown? Yeah. I'm just gonna be taking the bus in literal 30. Okay, I didn't hear any of that dialogue, so
I'm disappointed to hear that. Nonetheless, you may think, but you have merely... It is time...
okay. I literally need to get going because I just saw the time and I'm like, oh shit.
I need to rest. The sunset can't come quickly enough.